Hello. Welcome to a different view of the book, Howard's End, by E.M. Forster. In this play, we will be taking a look at a scenario of what would happen if Henry Wilcox and Leonard Bass got into an argument without the presence of any of the Schlegel sisters. Throughout the novel, the reader sees a constant clash between Leonard and Henry Wilcox, and Margaret and Helen is seen as the mediator between them. But this scene highlights what would happen if it was just them and shows the differences among these characters. We will begin the play at Evie's wedding. In the book, Leonard, Jackie, and Helen are seen intruding on Evie's wedding and asking for help because Leonard lost his job. Margaret handles the situation while Henry goes away. The reader understands that the two had a lack of food, so when Margaret offers them cake and champagne, Jackie gets very drunk. In the novel, the Bass and Helen go to a hotel, but in our scene, Helen goes to talk to Margaret. And as we know, Henry storms away after finding out that Margaret discovered he was once Jackie's lover. The Bass go one way, Henry the other, and the two cross paths. Jackie, stop running, you're drunk.
But Henry, I want to go home. I'm hungry.
We'll be there rather shortly and get food then.
Fine, Lenny boy. Oh, Henry! Oh, Henry! Henry!
Ah, Mr. and Mrs. Bast, how do you do?
Not too well, sir.
Ah, I see.
Don't act like you don't know why we're here. You're the cause of us being here.
Jackie, stop this. We will handle this. Very sorry about that, Mr. Wilcox. Well, sir, I left my job at the Buffetian because of your advice.
Oh, well, what a shame. This is a good company to be a part of.
What? Sir, you told me, Margaret and Helen, that I ought to leave there because it was to be sold by your insight. I then got a job at the bank and they cut down staff and fired me. Now we have nothing, sir.
A clerk who clears out of any concern, good or bad, without securing a berth somewhere else, first is a fool. I've no pity for them.
Maybe I have disgraced myself, sir, but the problem is I shall never get work now. If rich people fail at one profession, you can try another. Not me. I had my groove, and I've got out on it because of your advice.
That is right. There needs to be poor and rich. It is your fault you failed, and as a wealthy man, I do not see a purpose of hiring a poor man who does not have a plan.
Well, Henry, if a man over 20 once loses his own particular job, it's all over with him. I have seen it happen to others. Maybe I've disgraced myself, sir, but the problem is I shall never get work now. If rich people like you fail at one profession, you can try another. Not me. I had my groove, and I've got out on it because of your advice.
That is right. There needs to be poor and rich. It's your fault you failed, and as a wealthy man, I do not see a...
What are you doing?
Keep going.
Hi.
I do not see a purpose of hiring a poor man who does not have a plan.
Oh, Henry, if a man over 20 wants to lose his own particular job, it's all over with him. I have seen it happen to others. Their friends give them money for a little, but in the end, they fall over the edge. It's no good. It's the whole world pulling. There'll always be rich and poor because of people like you, Mr. Wilcox.
Watch your tongue, boy. You are my inferior. You'd be lucky to clean the mud beneath my shoes.
I could be like you, Mr. Wilcox, given the proper chances to wealthy like you were born into.
I believe this to be false. You had your chance at work and you failed. You could not survive doing what I do, boy. I'm a wealthy businessman. I hate being asked favors.
I'm not granted the chance to be able to move up in the world like you rich are. I believe myself to be capable of being rich, man, and fitting into this society. I know how the rich behave. I've been reading Ruskin. I believe if I keep on reading and attending the Queen's Hall's concert, I will one day push out of the gray waters and see the universe.
Well, keep reading, Leonard. You will never be like me.
The domain of business dominates the stock exchange, for example, and it becomes a bit of luck by which successes and failures are explained. If only I had a bit of luck, the whole thing would change. I would be your superior.
Quit with this nonsense. You are poor, and rightfully so, with your inability to keep a job and talk to your superiors.
You wealthy think you're perfect. You sit here and criticize me, but in reality, you are a bad man. I know what you did with Jackie.
Ah, I'm so ashamed. Look away.
Jackie is mine now, Mr. Wilcox. No longer yours. Henry turns, completely outraged.
Jackie, I left her, my dear boy. If I wanted her, I could have her.
Lenny, do something!
Jackie is mine as long as I'm alive.
Guess we ought to change that. Keep going, keep going.
They prepare to duel. There is conveniently a sword right next to them. As Henry buys his sword, Leonard looks into his pocket and sees he has no money.
Need a sword, sir. Mr. Wilcox, this is quite awkward, but I have no money.
It's okay, I will buy you one.
Slightly weird.
Here's more money.
Alright.
Here's your sword.
Let the duel begin! Alright, let's go over
Are
here.
you going to fight?
Yes.
Oh! You're fighting over me!
You're mine now. This just shows that the wealthy are superior.
Well, turn around, sir.